Manchester's real glory was a continuum of first-class rock and roll.
Beckham into Sheringham and Solskjaer has won it!
Welcome back to another episode of Scotty and Motty. I'm Scotty, so obviously that's Motty. Hope if you're in England or the UK, you're enjoying your bank holiday. May Day.
May Day.
It was May Day indeed. I've not told you this off camera, but I had a right drama when I parked up before.
Why?
I got my bag out of the car, out the boot and stuff, and then was looking around to realise how to lock the car. And I'd put my coat on, I put the car key on the back of the boot, closed the boot.
No.
And I'm like that, like literally, what am I doing? And I'm just rocking the back of the car for a while, pulling my hair out, and then realised obviously I haven't locked the car, so I just had to climb in. And yeah, there was absolutely no need for the amateur dramatics. If anyone caught that at the Northern Quarter, well, you're welcome.
But this is the one good thing about bank holiday. It's free parking, innit, on the street.
I got a car parking fine as well on my boat launch this week.
You joking?
No.
Where did you park?
Kennedy Street in Manchester. But the annoying thing is I paid for a car parking spot. It had like a temporary out of order, and then it said finishes at 5 o'clock on that day. Literally asked an inspector there, and he goes, "No, you're all right there." And then come back and I was like, 35 quid if you pay it in 14 days.
Mate.
So that's getting challenged.
Yeah, you need to, because they have you over with that. I hate it. It happens to me all the time.
Always reminds me of the lock, stock and... Is it lock, stock?
Yeah.
I hate parking wardens and they throw them in the back of the...
Oh, yeah, it's Rob Brydon, that, isn't it? The parking warden. Yeah, I remember that. Well done on your boat launch, bro.
Thank you. Well done, you.
No, listen, I'm not just saying this. I was honoured to be a part of it. And I mean that because you could have asked loads of different people, and it was a great night. We were both a bit nervous, weren't we, before we went out? Well, I was because I didn't want to balls up your big night by just being a moron.
No, I think seriously, like probably the most nervous I've ever been to go out in front of a crowd. Really,
that's weird, isn't it?
Yeah,
because we were like, is this going to be a bit, highbrow?
Yeah,
for our usual crowd.
I think like 30 seconds in, I mentioned drugs, and then everything was back to
normal. They were very sort of left wing as well, weren't they?
Yes, I did get, when I mentioned some Tory stuff though, I was told afterwards there were certain members of my employees in the audience that didn't clap. And
really?
They were in the minority, but the majority did.
Yeah, everyone else was on it, but well done. But if you've not done it, go out and get it. Where he's got me single there. Tell you what, Youngie, he's had his Weetabix today, hasn't he? Someone just said, is Ethan producing? No, it's James Young. So go and get Scotty's book, David Scott, Mancunians. Where do we start? Where do I begin? It's fantastic, and it was a pleasure and a privilege to be a part of the book launch and be interviewed for it. How are you feeling? Have you got your cheeks back together now after all that?
Wouldn't wish it on anyone. Genuinely awful.
We've all had a hangover, James.
Yeah. This is where James Young, says... Jay saw me at the services and I wasn't drunk. And to be fair to him, he wasn't drunk. He was sober, because it stood out for me, the fact that he was sober.
That was in London, yeah?
It was, I don't know. I don't even know. I couldn't even guess. Let's just say Birmingham. No, it wasn't. It was let's say Stafford. It was almost 2/3 of the way. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
More than enough time to have some cans.
Oh, right. So you're insinuating he could have gone home and got on it?
Yes.
I got back at 1:30 in the morning on a Sunday, and I was in uni at 9 o'clock the next day, and I'd been out for 3 days straight.
I used to finish my shift and go home and get on it in my house on my own. So,
but welcome back.
I'd take your word for it, James, because I believe you. Some might not, but I do. I know you've not been been poorly sick, but you're better now anyway. That's the main thing. Yeah.
Better.
Right, good. We're going to talk about flag shagging. Sorry. The Coronation. Forgive me. Because
how would you shag a flag?
I don't know.
It's more like a device for masturbation, isn't it, really?
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
I suppose.
Yeah, but I wouldn't even do that, would you? Bit wrong. I don't revere the flag, I just think it's a bit odd.
It's a bit disrespectful,
I'm just thinking,
actually.
What? Masturbating into a flag?
I mean, if you're that much of a nationalist, then surely defacing the flag is one of the worst things you can do.
What if it's done with love?
What, you love it that much?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good point. You could just, do you know what I mean? You love the Union Jack, for example, or whatever, that much that you decide to use it as a, as an aid. But the point I'm getting to is it's the coronation. King Charles III, I believe, is getting coronated, if that's the right term. When is it? Is it Saturday?
No, is it next weekend, isn't it?
It's not this weekend.
No, it's this weekend. It's another bank holiday, isn't it?
Yeah, it's another bank holiday. Yeah. Which, great. More free parking. I'm all about that. Great stuff. But I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. I'm not really feeling it. I'm not a royalist. And I find some of the press around it, quite frankly, ridiculous. It's enough to make North Korea blush. Some of the utter shit I have read today, right? I've got a couple here that I want to read out for you. So this one nearly made me spit my morning brew out. This was from Sky. This is genuine, this. Big rise in number of over 70s in the workplace, right? Over 70-year-olds in the workplace, big rise, with the king leading by example.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
That's a
if the king, who's 70 plus, can get out there and graft, then so can you. Yeah. So put your Zimmer frame down and stop moaning, get your teeth in and get out there and get digging holes. Yeah. What a ridiculous statement that is from a seemingly semi-reputable news agency. I mean, leading by example by what? Yeah. What's he do? Cut a few ribbons, shake some hands.
Is that not a spin because, like, people over a certain age can't retire as much as they used to, and now, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That is the
It's
spin.
like we're going to move the retirement age, and you can't moan about it because King Charles is out there, he's working. Yeah. He's not moaning, is he?
Do you reckon, like, they should get, like, look-alike King Charles is at the job centre? Well, look at this man. Little sausage fingers.
He has got big fingers, hasn't he?
I only got pointed them out to me. They're like chipolatas.
Yeah. I don't like to make comments on people's appearance. Yeah, I don't. It's just like, I think it's a bit mean. But you can't deny his fingers are just huge. Like, there's something going on there, and he's got a little ring on it, and his little finger.
Yeah, well, maybe that's the problem. He can't get it off, and the circulation's gone to all the rest of his hand.
Yeah, maybe that is. Yeah, we've all been there, Charles. You're not alone. Yeah. There was another one as well. This was another one. This was in the BBC news, and they said the king is recycling a chair used by King George the whatever.
He's recycling, not just using it again.
Just using it again.
Right. Okay, it's not the same.
Do you know what I mean? But it said, honestly. I honestly sometimes question myself whether I'm having an acid flashback or something. King Charles will be reusing a chair used by his grandfather, George the whatever, in a bid for sustainability.
Wow, right.
So not only is he out there grafting at the age of 70, setting an example to all you lazy bastards who sat on your ass because you're 70 odd and you can't be bothered anymore, he's also recycling. He's using a throne from years ago.
That was never going to find its way to any skip anywhere. No. It wasn't though, was it? It's not really recycling. It's not like Sunday mornings where your parents go, you just drop all that rubbish down the tip. And you're like, no. I'm going to keep this chair. It's what Grandad would have wanted. I mean, with all that, I can understand why he got elected to be. Oh no, that didn't happen, did it?
Well, he didn't.
With all them traits.
I just think, right, listen, can I just say a couple things? I get it if you're like a royalist, and you like the king and the queen and all that, and you're into it. But some of the things that are going on, it's ridiculous. Like, and the press around it, I don't understand. I don't understand how you can say with a straight face that a 70-year-old is worth £1 billion because we keep giving him money. He's, doing his bit to save the planet by reusing a chair. Yeah. Or he's setting an example to us.
You know what would have been a really good example? How much do they reckon it's going to cost this coronation?
I think, is it about 370 million?
370 million.
I think so. Get involved in the comments in the chat. We'll get to comments in a minute.
Right, now, just me. And if I'm somebody who wants to set an example, obviously, like he has with the recycling, and as he has done for showing people of a certain age can work, wouldn't you think that at a time when there's a cost of living crisis, you've got nurses striking, you've got the rail striking, you've got teachers striking, everybody's striking due to the lack of money that's available to public services. Now, it might just be me, but I'm not the best mathematician, but I reckon £350 million goes a hell of a long way to help him with the cost of living crisis. I'm a taxpayer, you're a taxpayer, the majority of us are taxpayers. At what point do we get any say in where our money goes? And it might be minimal, but once that minimal becomes the majority of people who don't want to invest into £350 million, do it over Zoom.
Well, I know what you're saying, right? I understand you, but I have got some good news for you, right? That's going to change your mind, right? All that cynicism that you've got, all that questioning whether it's worth spending 370 million quid on this coronation is going to go right out the window when I tell you what is going down, right? And I saw this on the front of loads of newspapers, so I know it's true. We're all, right? We're all invited to swear our allegiance to the king. What more do you want, bro?
Well,
not just the lords and the mayors and all that. We're all invited to swear our allegiance this time round. I don't know about you, but I've been waiting for that since I was born.
Yeah.
And now we can all swear our allegiance. Do you know what I mean?
As part of a ceremony, where do we do this?
Well,
at home?
Yeah, wherever you want, man. We've been invited. We're part of the firm now.
Right. And what if you don't want to do that?
What? Why would you not want to? You disgust me.
Many
You're not
reasons.
proud to be part of the monarchy. I'm not part of it.
I'm not
Just
part of the
serve,
monarchy.
to bow down
or
to
to
it.
serve them. I always think there's a massive difference between people. You can either love the country and not, you can dislike the royal family.
Yeah.
Not the same thing.
No, they're not.
Why don't you love this country because you've got such bad things to say about the royal family? I just think the whole thing's an absolute farce.
You know what makes me laugh, right? Is I saw this on paper, and there's a couple of papers, and I quote tweeted it and put finally a bit of good news, and a few people got that I was taking a piss and some didn't. But it says, in historic break with centuries of tradition that will turn Charles's big day, and these are two words, right, that make no sense to me put next to each other, into the people's coronation.
Right, because they've not done this before.
The people's coronation. Right, okay. Is it our coronation, is it? Because we get to swear allegiance to the king that none of us voted for. Half of us probably wouldn't be bothered if he stopped being king tomorrow, if he quit. Do you know what I mean?
It wouldn't make any difference to your life, would it, if we didn't have a king?
Not really. Would you bow if he came in this room?
Not
now?
a chance.
I wouldn't either.
If you got offered an MBE or whatever, would you take one?
No. Hypocritical for me. For me, I'm not about the empire and all that. I'm not one of them. Like, fair enough, if you get it, I understand, like, some people get it and they're proud and not.
Yeah.
I'm not knocking anyone, right, who gets an MBE and OBE and who's done, like, whatever to get it, and they want the big day, and, I understand all that. And, Marcus took his mum with him, didn't he? Fair play to him. He's done a lot of good work. He did an amazing amount of good work during lockdown, and it was a proud day for him, proud day for his mum, and I would never criticise anyone for that. Me, personally, I'm a bit more like your man, Danny Boyle, who says, nah.
Yeah.
I'm not taking that, and I couldn't show my face at the family dinner if I did. Which I thought was pretty good, because I think he was asked, like, on Graham Norton, I think, why have you not got a knighthood? And, because he's Academy Award-winning director, and he said, well, I got offered one, but I said no. Which I think is good, because they give you, like, they let you know, don't they? Like, you're going to get one.
Yeah.
Are you up for it? And there's a lot of good people. I mean, some get it for nothing, and you've had like Sir Philip Green or whatever who turned out to be a crook. But there's some people out there that do a lot of charity work, and it's good, fair play.
I understand that, and then you get sort of recognised for it at the highest level. I'd probably turn it down just for the argument with my dad, to be honest, Jay. Because he'd go up. What do you mean you're not going to Buckingham Palace? Yeah.
My dad is not a royalist, but he got upset when the Queen died. I think it represented something for him, like an era.
Yeah,
and his mum and dad, my grandma and granddad were fond of the Queen, and I think it was like, it was one of those. But no, my family aren't into the Queen. My mum, we couldn't have her on alive talking about the royal family.
I think we definitely should get Gabby on here.
We'd have to hire lawyers.
We could do it as a patron.
We could do it as a patron, and we still have to hire lawyers.
Really?
Because she's got some conspiracy theories that you don't want to know about.
She was telling me some theories about you as well the other night.
They're not theories, they're truths.
Yes,
she knows me better, you know what I mean?
Like,
come on, I can't pretend. But I don't know if this is the same. Forgive me, I've not done my full research here, but there's another story in the paper, this was on the Sunday People, that says, nation to join chant for Charles, everyone urged to cry, may the king live forever. Right? So you're invited to if you don't want to swear allegiance, you can do your chanting. Yeah? So we're having a bit of that.
That's up there with banging pans outside the front door for the NHS, really, isn't it?
I mean, yeah, as the they have to go on strike to get a pay rise for it.
I always find it interesting when it comes to anything to do with the royal family, especially regarding events like this. Are any quarters of the media being negative about it? Is anyone attacking? Because it seems to be quite a blanket thing where they're trying to put positive spins on stuff. I don't think anyone's,
I think everyone has, from what I've seen, got behind it in the media, haven't they? And it's like, this is, it's a positive thing, and it's, celebration, and you're all invited. Don't get me wrong, a lot of the right-wing publications, and I was quoting some of them, have gone turbo on it. But it does tend to be a sort of this being billed as this joyous celebration. Now, I get it, right? I understand that it's been a rough time for everyone. People need to celebrate summer. People need to come together. There's nothing wrong with a bit of unity, a bit of celebration. But this ain't it for me. It's not. It's some dude who lives in a house that he's never had to pay for. He's worth £1 billion, using taxpayers' money to pay for a coronation. He doesn't have to have. He doesn't have to have this. He's already the king. Do you know what I mean? If he doesn't go on through this coronation, no one's taking his crown off him. And he's not going to become Charles. He's still King Charles. He's choosing to have this. Yeah? And it's not inclusive, is it? It's not about the people. It's about a select few. Do you know what I mean? And like, some of his own family aren't going.
Yeah, but is that because they're not invited?
Well, I think, I don't know, Meghan Markle and Harry's kids aren't going, are they?
Yeah, I know.
So that's taken the number of non-white attendees down from 2 to none, probably.
Then when they're talking about, like, what's his name, the Pizza Express dude?
Prince Andrew.
Andrew, is he still Prince?
Oh yeah, of course he's Prince. What? Just because a few sex offences are going to take it off him, allegedly. Of course he's Prince.
But is he still? Hasn't he been like demoted from the?
Yeah, he only gets an allowance of $8 million a year now, so he's scared.
$8 million a year.
Yeah, we're only paying for 4 of his houses.
Right. Okay.
Do you know what I mean? So he'll think twice about sex trafficking kids.
Allegedly.
Won't he? Allegedly. So yeah, I mean, it's just difficult for me to get engaged with it. Do you know what I mean? Because they're
not human. They just don't seem like real people.
Yeah, and I think that it's just this whole sort of forcing this celebration and patriotism on everyone.
Yeah.
I don't know. Some people get into it because I remember when I was reporting, and it was the royal wedding. It was Prince William and Kate, their wedding. And everyone was out, and everyone was like, there was a lot of street parties. And I remember we was at Q103, and me and one of the reporters were driving around, got to different street parties, and everyone was celebrating. And I got it, I get it, and I think, right, all right, yeah, there's people love a wedding, and it's like this is the heir to the throne, and there was they seemed quite likable at the time. People may have changed their opinion or whatever, but I don't think anyone was sort of thinking Kate's horrible or William's a bastard or whatever. It just seemed like 2 young people getting married, bit of a celebration, everyone's involved, happy days. This hits a bit differently for me. You've had the controversy with Prince Andrew, you've had the fallout with Harry and Meghan where it seems a bit off, you've had the cost of living crisis, you've had COVID and everything that's gone with that, and the fact that there's people who are choosing whether to heat the homes or eat. It just seems a bit distasteful that the taxpayers footing a bill for a celebration or a coronation we don't even need to be having. And also, he could pay for this. He's got money. He could say, you know what, I'll make it a people's coronation. I'll pay for it myself.
Especially all the overtime that he's been doing has been grafting.
Well, he's been grafting. He's been setting examples. The other 70-year-olds out there who just, lazing around at a retirement home or
private jets.
Yeah, I mean, sat around their house in a blanket because they can't afford to heat the rooms. They want to get a grip, man.
Oh, they say in the comments.
Alex Winters, your mate, is in there.
Alex Winters is there. Hello, Alex. He sat on my lap on Saturday.
Yo, you're lucky.
Oh, not Thursday.
I bumped into him as I was leaving.
Did you? Yeah.
Top bloke. He says, swearing allegiance, chanting out loud, seriously, a cult, count me out.
Oh.
Alex, I'm with you, brother. I just don't get it. Oh, he's actually said he's got some more here. The whole pledging allegiance to the king thing is utter bollocks. Why has he gone down this route? How secure is all sausage fingers? It's so American and so very culty. Horrible stuff. Try not to sit on the fence, Alex, when you come on here.
He's feeling very cheery with this bank holiday, isn't he?
Heaven's Soul is a little bit more balanced. Says, I'm not a big royalist, but I'm all right with getting a free bank holiday and for the king to get his day. Just wish he wasn't such a knob.
Is he a knob? Like, is he? Compared to his brother, he's more...
Well, that's like, you're on to a winner there, aren't you?
Is he more Reggie than Ronnie Cree?
Nice. I like what he did there. I think with Charles, I don't think he's that nice.
You don't?
No. I think he's a bit of Can I get my head cut off if I slag off the king on camera?
I'll protect you. When they come towards you with that sword, I'll stand right in front of you, and because you're 6 foot bigger than me, your head's coming clean off. But
it's all right. No.
Go on, tell me what it is. Then I mean, in fact, if you tell me in the comments what it is, particularly why, in Jay's words, the king's a knob.
No, I didn't say that.
That's the Queen album that never got released. The Smiths album that never got released.
He's got some.
The Queen is dead and the Queen's a knob. The B-side and rarities.
Like, he's got some admirable traits. He seems to give a toss about climate change, which fair enough.
Great.
Yeah, but I'm trying to be kind of like the whole thing with Harry and Meghan and all that, right? That's your son. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you've got kids. You back your son. You look after him. You love him. You do everything you can for him. And he kind of threw him under the bus. Do you know what I mean? He did. And I think him and Camilla are a bit shady. And I think they knew what was going down there with some of the press and stuff. You know, Camilla was having dinner with Jeremy Clarkson the day after he wrote an article saying, I want to throw shit at her.
Right, yeah.
Would you do that with your daughter or your granddaughter? Go and have tea with a guy that's wrote that? No, you wouldn't. You'd be snapping his jaw. Do you know what I mean? So I don't expect him to do that, obviously. But I just think it's a bit... And the whole...
That'd be a right meat fest, that, wouldn't it? Do you know what I mean? Like Prince Charles's sausage fingers against that gammon head of Clarkson.
Do you reckon it'd be
like a butcher's?
Pummeling you?
Yeah, but onto Clarkson's big head.
Oh, yeah, that'd be a right tasty one, that, wouldn't it? So I don't know, I think the whole... He just comes across to me as someone who's just not asked about people. I might be wrong. I think it's a bit of a show. Like this whole thing, I care about the common man. I think
right. I've got one for the people who are viewing. If you don't want Charles as king and you could nominate anybody in England alive to be king, and obviously me and Motty are included in this, who would you have to be king? Who would you swear allegiance to? Who would you have
as king?
As king.
Maybe Gok Wan.
Gok Wan?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Why Gok Wan?
Seems like a nice bloke.
Yeah.
Why not? He'd be trendy. He's well dressed.
King Wan.
Trendy.
Yeah. King. Yeah.
He'd look the
Gok.
part. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why not? Have you ever really had an issue with him?
He did some shitty adverts.
You always with there's always something with you, isn't there? Why can't it be more like me and just accepts everyone?
Except for the king.
Except for the king of this country.
Yeah.
Have you tried his chicken? His cooking book's amazing, actually.
Thank you.
His finger chicken's great.
Finger chicken, there you go.
Is that what you were? Is that what you were eating when you had food poisoning?
No,
last
it was
week?
actually.
No, that was stellar.
It was a pasty from a service station that I thought you could eat cold and you couldn't.
Such an elaborate
You thought
tale.
you could eat
Such an elaborate
cold.
tale, this one.
Yeah.
It was a pasty. It was a ginsters from a service station. Gingsters, sorry.
Alex would have Mr. Tumble, King Tumble.
Oh no, he's a City fan. Don't know.
Is he blue?
Yeah, big blue.
Alex.
Tall Kem you says Ken Barlow without a doubt.
Top shagger.
Yeah. Norman Caesar says, why do we need a king? We don't.
Mr. Tumble introduced safe standing to CBeebies, actually. He was the pioneer of that movement.
Right.
How do you know that?
I don't even know what he's on about sometimes. I don't know if he's joking or he's being serious.
Alex,
I don't know.
Is he being serious?
King Dino's been on the blunder. He says Marcus Rashford, which is a good point, then or Howson. Hey.
Howson would run it like Henry VIII, though, wouldn't I imagine?
Howson, there'd just be mass executions every day.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Do you know what I mean?
And I think
on a whim, or we'd invade everywhere. Start invading countries because he loves the army. Do you know what I mean? Let's go and invade Wales. What? No. That's part of the kingdom. All right. Who would you have? Sorry, I'm keeping you awake over there.
I'm reading the chat, sorry. I don't... In terms of like national treasures, are we going down that route?
Yes,
This
like
is so
Gok Wan.
David Brent, isn't it? So can I have? Because what I want to say is time travel, but that doesn't really exist.
Yeah.
Just give me any person.
Andy Tate would be very funny.
No,
Andy
it wouldn't.
Tate is king.
No, it wouldn't. Right.
Imagine
I love Andy. I did a video
speech.
with him today, but yeah, he does a Christmas Day speech for us.
Yeah.
Andy Tate does?
Yeah, on Paddock. Andy Tate's alternative Christmas Day speech. 3 minutes of pure gold every year. So you'd have Andy Tate?
Well, I think he could be an option. We should have I think we should have an X Factor like style competition for it. Just like random people, they put their manifesto forward. It's like an elected head of state, and then it goes to like a vote at the end to decide who's king.
Right. Okay. Let's see. Go on.
Who were the judges on that?
We could have Simon Cowell
To judge who be king?
to be king. Who's a good judge of like who you trust?
Roy Keane.
Roy Keane, Simon
But
Cowell.
I'd have Roy Keane, and
Roy Keane.
even better that he's Irish.
What
Exactly.
about what about Charlie Brooker? He'd be good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Charlie Brooker. There you go.
I think we should have, like, bring a queen.
Right, I've got to admire Alex Winter's knowledge around Mr. Tumble here. Says he
He's
was made
working
to
with-
wear a City shirt during an episode of Something Special. His team growing up was Hull. Thank you. Thanks for filling out. Someone said Stephen Graham. Miss Man United said, "Oh my God, Stephen Graham." Miss
As
Man
king,
United.
he's shorter than me. He's like the guy out of Shrek.
But most kings were actually dead short, though, weren't they, back in the day?
The best people are, Jay.
Right. Okay.
Do you want me to prove it?
No, it's all right.
Okay.
We've done this
Have we
before.
really? Have we done it off air because there's one in there that we can't talk about who wasn't very high. Ryan Cox.
Brian Cox, he seems like, oh, Victoria Simpson says that Peter Kay. Have it? Yeah, Mitchell says Peter Kay has my vote. Yeah, I mean, Peter Kay's a bit of a national treasure, isn't he?
I prefer Stuart Lee actually. If we're going comedians.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, that'd be very.
Hey,
fun.
I prefer Stuart Lee because I'm so fucking hip.
No.
Hey, I'm so hipster. Hey,
Brian Blessed, there's a king.
he'd be able to shout when he
Yeah,
give
project.
speeches. Imagine his Christmas Day speech.
Who's the lad that did Barcelona that shouted that?
He's dead.
sing it-
Freddie Mercury died. You might have read it in the papers.
The
It was
Mank
everywhere.
one. What's his face? Did it on the pitch at Old Trafford.
Sean Ryder. Sean Ryder did a
No.
Barcelona version of Barcelona. You know the Freddie Mercury version?
He did a Barcelona version
I
of
know
Barcelona.
that made no sense whatsoever. I thought I'd sideswipe that, but you pulled it, sidestep that. But you...
Russell Watson. That's what I meant.
Oh, Salford's finest.
Yeah.
Russell Watson, he went to the same school as my son and daughter. Hey, there you go. Bit of trivia for you. Hey, M44, massive Earlham in the gaff, yeah? Russell Watson. He's the king of Earlham, actually.
Really?
So it'd be a natural step up for him. Someone said Rick Mail, unfortunately, he's passed away. So I think that that discounts him. What else says, Jay, do you know any Watsons from Partington? Used to visit my uncle there. I don't think I do. Sorry. But I did, in fact,
That's
I
a
did
really
see
niche question.
yeah, I did see someone from Partington at Old Trafford the other day. They introduced himself. Ellis from Partington. if you're
Boris
watching.
Johnson.
Boris Johnson. Aid Edmondson. Daniel Gray says producer Ethan
No,
would be
he
a
wouldn't.
cracking king.
He would.
Come on.
Ethan always, you can rely on Ethan.
I
If he
think,
produces,
I think
like,
this has been Youngie's finest hour so
he's
far.
doing well, isn't he?
He's smashed it.
I've not seen that screen flick between me and you and wide.
He's smashed it.
What about the other week where I had all the little images on the screen? That was good as well.
Yeah, did really well there.
Not done
What
anything
little
today,
images?
The like news stories and that.
All right. Well, do you want some more of that?
I can do. If you send them over, I'll put them on.
Right. Look at him.
Any king from the north. How about Liam Gallagher?
Yeah, he's a bit of a. He'd be funny,
Could
wouldn't
you
he?
make like a crown
one
on the
day.
Parker?
Yeah. Liam Gallagher, Innes Parker. What about Ian Brown? Instead of having his tinfoil hat on, he can have a crown. But with a bit of tinfoil in
Ian
it.
Brown's crown.
Yeah. That'd be good, wouldn't it?
Crown.
If you was the king, what rule would you bring in? What would be your first?
Do they have any rules?
What, any power?
Can they make
No,
rules?
I don't think they can give us a bank holiday. I
all
think
right,
that's-
yeah, but I just
and they can
look-
get the brothers off offences. They've got a bit of power there. Hey, what's that, son? You're looking at jail time in America. Don't worry about that. How much? 40 million quid. We'll sort that out. So yeah, there is some power. I don't know how much power they've got. Like realistically, they open Parliament and all that, don't they? And they have to approve the Prime Minister, don't they?
Right.
The Prime Minister has to go and get approved
If,
by the king.
if I was king, I'd probably get rid of the whole political system in the country. If I'm
Wow.
honest, and
Burn
start-
it all
I've got this news
Let's
story
start
up if you
again.
want me to put it across.
Which one is it? Go on.
Oh, still going so well, wasn't it?
You started. Here we go. James is back.
Sorry,
James is back.
There you go. Click on the video.
Been left with a picture of someone in some Union Jack pants.
Why is it? I've got to wait for it to
Big rise in number of over 70s in the workplace.
Ow. There we are.
How do you stop it? Press stop.
On his single.
On his
There we
single.
are.
Oh my God.
There.
Please. I tell you what, if I was king, I'd train everyone in production skills from
It was
birth.
going so well.
Yes, but like most things, James, you tempt fate, and fate will come and bite you in the ass.
You panicking, trying to find a button for his single.
I'm glad. You know what? We've carved a niche now.
Do you want me to keep that on or not?
What the fuck is going on? I'm talking. You're cutting into me again, waffling. No, look, you're doing it. Who's this dude?
Right, get rid of that.
I think people enjoy the car crash production now. We've created something very, very. No other show fucks up like we do on production.
And you know what? On production. No other show fucks up like we do on production, he said, with a confident swagger. Hey, what the fuck? Hey,
happened again.
We've all gone mad. Hey,
I don't think we'll put any more stories on.
No, I think.
I think, do you know what? You're putting stories days on that are over. Hey, right. We've done the moaning.
Let's talk about big booty mermaids.
Yeah, what's this story you've got for us?
Okay, so Jay wanted to bring in segments about like fictional
stories.
creatures that that wasn't the. I thought the segment was, have you got any stories about fictional creatures with big derrieres? Is that not it? No.
Well,
quirky stories.
Yeah, quirky stories.
So I don't know if you saw this week, or last weekend actually, it was a sculpture in the south of Italy of a mermaid, and it was voluptuous and made out of stone, but there was lots of complaints about it was sexualising a fictionalised being and saying the ass was too big.
I mean, have we gone mad at it? I trust you to find it and put it on the screen.
This is what I'm doing now.
Oh, all right. Well,
Right.
can we do it with a bit less attitude?
We need a
please?
drum roll.
You know what I mean?
Because James is going to put
James Jong now.
a stone mermaid on the screen without going back to the intro. Here we go, James. You ready?
Just trying to. No, I keep talking. I'm trying to find.
All right, with the suspense. A big old drum roll coming here.
I'm trying to find the folder it's in.
What? Do you care about like what sculptures look like?
No, I mean, most sculptures have got the tackle out and boobs out and all, aren't they?
Yeah.
Like, what's the famous? Is it Michelangelo's David?
Yes.
With his willy out.
But most of everything as it's Todger out, don't you?
Yeah.
Everything from that age.
Right.
They were saying they were sexualising it.
Sexualising
A mermaid that doesn't, how do you know? I thought about this long and hard. Because if you're a mermaid, you're going to need to have a big ass.
Okay.
Because she had like a sizable tail.
Right, all right.
But
She hasn't got an arse, has she?
But she should have.
Well, is the bottom half not all scales?
No, but you'd think like you'd need that.
Oh,
sort
right,
of-
the shape.
Yeah, you'd need
Right,
it.
sorry.
I think.
Yeah, the shape.
I don't know. Did the whales have bums?
The whales have bums.
Yeah.
Here we go.
There we go. Look at that.
That's some right back off that, isn't it? Bloody hell.
That's Mix-a-Lot.
She has, hasn't she? So where's this? The statue.
Puglia or Puglia in Italy, south of Italy.
Right, okay. And there's people have been moaning about this.
Saying like sexualised a mermaid.
I mean, it is ridiculous, isn't it, to say you can sexualise a mermaid for starters. But that is quite original, isn't it, to be fair?
What, that?
Yeah, you don't usually see statues of mermaids looking like that.
No. So it's a long way from Ariel.
It is, isn't it? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The little people lose their minds over, like, just the weirdest things, though, don't they? Like, wasn't there people kicking off because the Little Mermaid, they remade it with a black Little Mermaid?
Yeah, which is absolutely scandalous. Because,
because everyone knows that
all mermaids are just white and red hair.
I mean,
everybody knows this.
It's like when they do like a Doctor Who's a woman and everyone was losing their minds there. You're like, hang on a minute.
You can't get female doctors.
The time travelling alien is a woman. That's your issue. Hey, it gets about in a phone box. You've got a problem with her being female.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. It's absolutely. Colin Coupleditch has just become a patron.
Oh, nice one, Colin. Thank you, everybody who's been signed up to the Patreon, actually. Last couple of weeks, the numbers have been going through the roof and we get a lot of nice messages from you. £1 a month, 25p a week. After this show, we're going to be doing a Anti-Glazers radio show special where all the songs will be of choice.
Anti-Glazer.
About...
How is your Anti-Glazer?
You're worse than him.
Sorry, you're in full swing then as well.
Yeah, exactly.
This has just been absolute chaos. This is so unprofessional. Do you know what I mean? Some of us do YouTubing for a living, right? And I've never seen this amount of unprofessionalism since about 4 o'clock this afternoon when I did my video before you lot got here.
Consistency is key.
Consistency is key. I put a link to our Patreon in the chat. There's 2 options in there. There's the
one
platinum package.
Yeah.
For £2. Yeah. And for that, you get everything. Or there's the pound package, which is good as well, and you get extra content in either of those.
Yeah.
So it's either £2 or £1.
It's £24 a year or £12 a year. I think 25.
He's done the maths. He's worked it out for you.
a week. It's less than a Starbucks brew a month.
I love the way you broke it down into things that I can understand.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like it's less. It's like when they do that with the wages for the nurses and that, don't they?
What, by Starbucks brews?
No, they do it by tins of beans. Which
What?
I thought, yeah, it's the thing.
Football
and it's quite
pitches. That's the other one.
Yeah, football pitches for size. But they'll say, like, because what they'll say is a nurse in 2010, her wage would have bought her 10 tins of beans an hour. Now it will buy her 4 tins of beans an hour. So you can see.
But surely doesn't it work with the cost of beans rising?
That's the point. Their wages have risen, but they've not risen in tandem with inflation.
I can't work in beans. I don't like them.
What do you like?
Peas?
Right. We'll do it in peas next time for you. It's just, I thought it was a clever way of explaining inflation and how your wages haven't risen in line with it.
Yeah, obviously went right over my head. I'm not a mathematician. I write books. And
he does write books, and if you haven't got it, my single, please, Maestro.
Didn't even have to ask.
Wow. Hey, we are cooking with gas here. Go and check out that book. It's phenomenal. It's flying off the shelves, isn't it?
Literally, yeah. I stole 2 copies from Waterstones on my the other day.
Talking of thieving,
yeah.
Now
did he steal a copy?
Yeah,
of
he
my
did.
book.
Yeah, I've got a picture
From
somewhere.
where?
You can put this on the screen.
Oh, you
right?
Fucking.
Right? Can I just say one
Not
thing?
only is his shit producer, he's his shit friend. I've given him countless opportunities at live open mics to do this. I've invited him on a BBC show, and the man's taxing me book. I'm not signing it.
Right.
You literally got a picture of him stealing my book.
I've included the message he sent me in this. Right. I want you to put it all on the screen for everyone to see. My friend, right, writes a book, has a book signing and a book launch, invites you to it. Yeah.
No, I actually bought a ticket.
And you repay
bought a ticket?
Right.
Yeah.
You bought. Well, when you
can't believe that
Right.
shit.
Put that on the screen. What I've just sent you to live producer. Oh, no, can you get in live producer?
Probably not.
I can't get into live producer.
Well, how can I send it to you? Why? Can you not get on slide? Forget it. Just forget it.
Hang on, I've got it.
Right, go on. He's done it. He's worked it out. This, right. Me and my missus.
Make sure you clip this up.
Me and my. In fact, my whole family were witnessing a crime and we didn't even know because my mum and dad were there as well. And I was outraged. And I'm no grass scotter. You know me.
No.
I'd rather
me, you,
jump in a canal
and the viewers.
Yeah, than grass on anyone. But I draw a line on thievery from my friend's book launch. Yeah. You come down there. And you on the graft, it's unacceptable. Yeah, you ruin the night for everyone. So when you give him 5 minutes,
he messaged me saying, "Can I get a PDF of the book?" I'm like, "What? So you can bootleg it?" He would have done the one down the photocopy at the uni. Look at him laughing. You fraud bastard.
can we have this picture up?
I'm trying to find it. There's too many files. There's too many files on this computer called screenshot, and I can't just click on the thing.
Whilst James tries to find the evidence of him feeding my
I found
book.
it.
It's
Oh,
fine, right? Get it on the
Hold
screen. Come on, sunshine. I want the world to see. Look at that. So he sent me that message as well. If you want to read that for everyone, Scotty.
Waterstone Security looking for book number 30 tonight. Ha 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 ha. And that was James Jong after my book launch on Thursday at Waterstones.
And and I was privy to this before he did actually, because he told me as he was leaving.
I thought he got off pretty sharpish,
I've nicked a book, and was laughing. He had it in a placky bag, and he went, "I've nicked a book," and then he sent me his message just to underline his.
That's some baggage shit.
His criminality.
That's quite bad.
Do you know what I mean?
I mean, I know the guy who wrote Gang Wars, like Peter Walsh. Remember the book in the night? And he was saying that his book was the most stolen from Waterstones, and it got a bit of a name for itself because every time they kept stocking it, people kept stealing it.
Yeah, but did any of those people that steal it, Scotty, did they...
Were they friends of
Were
the
they friends of yours? Had Peter Walsh invited them along to poetry nights? Had he opened the doors to his world? Had he given them a prominent role on a podcast that was close to his heart? Had he done all those things?
No.
Had it?
None of
No,
them.
he hadn't had it. But you did for him. And he repaid you by robbing. Yeah? Absolutely disgusting. I'm ashamed to call you a friend. Honestly.
Yeah.
I know a lot of thieves, yeah? A lot of criminals, but you're the worst.
There's a code, though, isn't there, between thieves?
I think there's- I honestly think-
if you don't steal from your
Yeah.
friends...
I thought we hit a low point when we talked about Prince Andrew on this podcast, but I think, do you know what?
Oof, are you
robbing
putting
books off your mates
Are
is
you
worse than
putting-
anything he's ever done.
James Young below Prince Andrew
Yeah.
in terms of...
In the criminality and disgusting stakes, I think so. Because, do you know what I mean? Stealing off your friend on his big night.
Yeah.
Do you know how long he spent looking for book number 30 as well? Hey.
That's why I was there till half 9.
He was there till
signing
half 9 looking for book number 30. Hey. Honestly.
books. How does James manage to lower the bar
Of behaviour every week.
single week?
Yeah, Steve Muckley there.
We'll have to
in the
limbo
chat.
under it next week.
Yeah.
The bar's so fucking low.
So, if you can help us out by joining our Patreon, because Scotty's not making the money off this
I
book,
think
he
what we
because
should do
people
is,
are nicking it.
I think what we should do is give the book away to Patreons. To
I think you've got some brass neck.
That's not a bad idea.
Stealing and then saying what you're going to do with your ill-gotten
I've
gains.
already read it now.
You what?
I've already read it.
He's already read it. Well, all right. Well, if you sign up to a Patreon this
Yeah.
week, I'll steal. In fact, I'll take back book number 30 off James. I'll pick a patron at random this week. I'll even get James to pay for the postage and packaging out of his wages that he gets from us. That's a decent deal, isn't it? You get a free copy.
Which is out of my pocket.
Daniel Gray says, I thought his producing was the only criminal act. Nice.
Oh, nice one, Daniel Gray.
Look, he can't see now, but he's absolutely raging
No,
at that.
because there's other criminal acts as well that we can't go into.
Right, okay. Listen, I'm a reformed criminal. There's a difference, right? I don't rob anymore. I told you about the time I walked out of Tesco's without paying by accident. I had to go back because I shit myself. But continual stealing off your friends. Have a word with yourself. Another segment we have on this podcast now.
Yes.
Unsung
Thief
heroes.
of the week.
Yeah, Thief of the Week. And James Young has won it for the third week running. Unsung heroes.
Yeah, this was about the is it counselor in America?
Yes. Yeah.
Do you know his name?
I can't remember.
Do we have this information we're going to put up on screen? James?
Well, you've not sent it over.
We sent you the things on WhatsApp.
Yeah,
We're
well,
going to
I
be
know.
talking about this
But
this
I
week.
thought you
Producers would put that ready and get it on the screen. So basically, there was a councilman in America, and he's a white man, and he's had a lot of stuff to say about people who are changing their gender or sexuality.
Oh, right, sorry, yeah.
And I can't remember the guy's name, but
Ryan Webb.
Ryan Webb, and he this week came out and said that he's now identifying as a woman of colour.
So he's not. This isn't an unsung hero. This is someone basically who's taking the piss money.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, the thing is, right, with these, because this guy's got a history, I think, of some pretty like odd behaviour. So what was his name again, young guy?
Ryan Webb.
Ryan Webb.
Webb. And it's this idea that you can identify as anyone or any sex and things like that, and you know, digging it out and having a go at him. And I just feel that it's unnecessary. I feel like whilst you might well have a serious conversation about, you know, safe spaces or trans athletes or whatever and things like that, I think sometimes that people just use it as a way of bullying and ridiculing groups that have got enough on the plate. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, this guy's getting a little bit of, you know, traction and attention, and we're talking about it, and there'll be a lot of people who think it's funny and backing him and saying, oh, this is, you know, it's gone too far, and no, you can identify as anything and all this, that and the other. But you've got to remember that people are identifying as a different gender because that's how they feel.
Right.
Now, I just feel really distasteful about having a dig at him.
I think that what's his name, Ryan Webb, is obviously doing it as a source of ridicule. In some ways, he's punching down and trying to be a contrarian for clicks. That's the reason. It's
Punching down. Do you know what? You're right, bro.
But has he got a point? Because I think in terms of, and I'm obviously playing devil's advocate here by saying that, can you identify as another colour?
I think there was, what was that documentary? I watched it the other week. Rachel, what's her name? Who was like part of the NCAA.
Yeah, because this is a long time.
She pretended she was black.
No, but she said she identified as being black.
Yeah,
and
but
then
she didn't at first. She said she was
black. Yeah.
And then when she got found out she wasn't, she didn't, which I think is slightly nonsensical.
Rachel.
Thank you, Rachel Zale. Yeah. Zale. But I just feel like it is punching down, and I feel like we're having a dig at a group that have got enough going on and have getting enough bullying, enough criticism, enough struggles, without just this nonsense. And it is just, for me, it is nonsense. And you know, when you see things like, I'll be honest with you, Scotty, right? I didn't really get involved in much of the trans discussion, and me and you know, we sit here and we talk about all sorts of everything. I've got an opinion on everything, and I just sort of stayed out of it. And I think I should, you know, I wish I hadn't have. I wish I had said a few more things on it, because I don't think I've got an issue with anyone who feels that they're what I identify as a different gender. Genuinely feels that they were born into the wrong gender or a different gender. And I think that there's obviously millions of people that do feel like that. And I think that what was an eye-opener for me was, and forgive me if I'm getting this slightly wrong, was it Brianna Gay in Culture who got stabbed to death?
Yeah, which was absolutely
16-year-old girl, and she, you know, identified a trans girl, beautiful young trans girl, got murdered. I believe it's a hate crime. I don't know for certain, so I don't want to say that I'm getting it wrong, but it looks like its own sense and purposes it was. Now, was she harming anyone? Was she harming anyone?
That's the thing.
Was she offending anyone or upsetting anyone? Or was she just trying to live a life the way she felt she should?
Yeah.
And if you've seen it, I think she did some TikTok videos and there's like stuff on social media. Just an innocent girl who, you know, wanted to live a life the way she deserved to live a life. And yet she was murdered, seemingly, because of it. And I just think, when you see something like that, and I think, when we have these arguments like, or these points that you say, can a woman have a penis? And it's just, or the whole prison thing, you know, or what about these men that identify as women to get into women prisons? And I think another thing that annoys me about that is, right, you're taking an extreme thing there. Obviously, you can use common sense. If someone, like, if I got nicked and then tomorrow I say I'm identified as women so you can put me in style prison rather than strange ways, I'm making it up and it's nonsense. If there's a genuine, you know, someone has transitioned or whatever, and there's an issue there, or there's a discussion there, but people who are making this argument are acting like they care about women prisons, and they don't. You never hear these people talk about prison reform or giving a shit about prisoners. They don't care until this argument comes up, and all of a sudden they're all fucking massively interested in the safety of women prisoners. Right. I'm not saying they shouldn't be, but it's just performative nonsense because they're part of an agenda. And this whole thing of, can a woman have a penis? Can a girl have a penis? Yeah, if they identify as a woman and they've not had an operation, then yeah, I think they can.
Are they using people's sort of choice of gender or identity as a way to sort of self-promote their own brand? In many ways? Do you know what I mean? Because it seems like it's on trend that you can sort of. I believe you should be able to debate anything, but debate it. Yeah. You know, and if you have real concerns, then like I said, it shouldn't be a concern that's only just come about now because it's in the news a lot of the time. But there does seem to be a lot of like punching down and just like really sort of ridicule, and it just seems unfair. And like you use a perfect example of the extremes that this can go to, because you get people who aren't having these views initially, but because it's put across in the mainstream media all the time, it becomes part of the psyche, and you're like, oh shit, I've got views that I didn't know I had like two weeks ago. Do you know what I mean? Because I've seen X, Y, and Z scream about it, contrarian for the sake of it. And
I get it, right? I understand people when they say, you know, women talk about safe spaces and things like that, and but you know, when I was at uni, I had gender neutral toilets, and I often think as well, if you've got someone who's going to do something, is a different sign on the toilet going to stop him? Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I think like the argument just gets
a lot. Yeah.
It just becomes almost nonsensical, and I just feel that we're picking on a group that don't deserve it. And I think that whilst there are some cases where you go, that's a bit ridiculous, like someone who's literally just about to get sent down and then they change genders the day before, or you've got someone who, you know, combat sports, there might be someone you look at there, if you're just going to throw in someone who was, you know, who's basically, you know, male, and you're putting him in with female athletes in, say, a boxing ring, then there's a discussion to be had. I get all that, but what happens is people act as though, you know, the trans community are running around just taking a piss when they're not. They're just trying to be accepted for who they are, just as me or you would want to be accepted for who we are.
In a perverse way, the amount of hysteria around it could be viewed in a positive, because if you look through modern history, every generation has had its witch hunts, and you can go back to colours.
Yeah.
You know, religions.
Yeah.
If you like, you had the black Irish and dogs, and they have to go for this sort of, they become that generation's witch hunt, don't they? And then you sort of to force through an acceptance. So whilst at times this conversation and the way it's sort of been run in a lot of the, especially the right wing media, is harrowing and it is causing effects on people's lives, that these conversations are being had and people are pushing back against that narrative. There's a fight being had rather than them having to live in the shadows. And that was the same with, gay people for a long time had to sort of, live their lives behind closed doors and stuff like that. So the more things are out in the open, I always bring it back to this Jay-Z quote when he was talking about Donald Trump in the White House, and some people were saying, I can't believe like the president's got these views and X, Y, and Z, and Jay-Z said, well, I'm glad he's got these views, because what happens is when he airs these views, everybody else feels sort of empowered that they can share their views. Otherwise, what happens is you get racism that's suppressed, and you don't solve a problem by suppressing anything.
It's a great point. Do you know what I mean? And you make a good point as well, because, we'd be an ally. I know you hate that word, forgive me. But if someone was racially, abusing someone or homophobic towards someone, then you'd stick up for the person that was being abused. And I think, there's times when we can maybe do that a bit more, personally me, when you see it towards the trans community. Cause I just think it's just punching down. You nailed it on the head. It's just punching down all the time. I just think, get a fucking grip and leave them alone. Anyway, Youngie, well done. We've gone 12 minutes without you making a mistake. I'm very proud of you.
He's fell asleep.
Oh, Mia.
Yeah.
There's nothing to
So,
add.
well done. Congratulations.
Should we
Your
read
best
some of
ever
the
performance.
You reckon?
I think it's up there. I think
James' best performance was when Ethan took over.
Wow.
Let's see. Read some of the comments before we go.
Heaven Soul says, I honestly feel the amount of time and effort spent into discourse of trans politics, etc., is so disproportionate. People are losing their heads over something affecting less than 1% of the people. Heaven Soul also says, Republicans, Conservatives focus on trivial issues to deflect from the core issues plaguing everyone, like the cost of living, healthcare, education, etc. Cost of living, yeah, you're right. And we've got over here, I don't know if that's more obviously based in America, but over here we've got this Coronation to look forward to. That'll cheer us up in the cost of living crisis.
Yes.
370 million quid, well spent.
Yes, but it might cost you a fortune to live. But you know what, Jay? It'll cost you nothing to swear your allegiance to the flag. That's been Motty. I've been Scotty. That's been James Young. Thank you, everybody who's been watching this week. If you are interested in signing up to the Patreon, like I said, we are going to be doing an anti-Glazer radio show after this. That'll be exclusive to our patrons. 25p a week. 50p a week if you want the warts and all package. I don't know how that works out in beans, but I imagine you'll get more.
We'll do it in peas for you next week. We'll work on that. But yeah, thank you everybody who's been getting involved. Make sure you're liking and subscribing if you haven't already. It's been an absolute pleasure. Like I said, we'll be picking a patron at random. We'll be stealing the book that James stole from me at my book launch, and we'll be sending it out with James's pocket money when he gets paid some. Until next week, I've been Scotty. That's been Motty.